YouTube and Instagram. Everybody got here at the same time. Hey, Robin F. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. Lucas Menezes Crudo. Hello, Lucas. How are you? Coming to you live from New Orleans. It's a lovely day. It's not too cold. Cold enough to wear a jacket.
Yeah, but it's not like miserable.
Yeah, Rebecca on YouTube. How are you? I'm coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube through two separate devices because I haven't found a software that does that I like yet. But if anybody has any suggestions, I'm always open to those. Waiting for more people to get here. There's that random church bell. Oh, I guess it's 1 o'clock, so that's perfect. One ring
Yeah,
from
it's
the
not
church
really
bell.
random.
Yeah. But I mean, we never used to hear it before. Hang on, we're telling more followers to join their video. Okay, well. And what's going on over here on YouTube? Well, we do this thing. Oh, Robin Ferguson just started following me on Instagram. Maybe she'll get the live notification. All right, I'm getting all of the notification over here. Okay. All right, got a couple people on YouTube. Got one person over here. It's supposed to be summer here, but it's kind of cold. Yeah, where are you? Where it's supposed to be summer, Lucas? That was you. Yes, yes. I'm Uncle Birch _ witch on Instagram, and over here on YouTube, I'm Uncle Birch. My largest account on TikTok, which is really like about 3,000 subscribers now, because my 65,000 subscriber one. Oh, that Lucas. Hey, how are you? I can't tell with your little picture down there. Okay, hey. Well, you're like one of the few people I've talked to on live over here. So I figured today it's kind of pointless to go live on TikTok. I'd go live on YouTube and Instagram, see how that goes. So Lucas over here is one of my students from Brazil. We do this little thing called Ask Uncle Birch, where I answer random questions about witchcraft and magic from whoever shows up, basically. And I do this on Facebook, now Instagram. I've been doing it on YouTube for quite a while, and been doing it on TikTok for quite a while. But I have 3 accounts on TikTok right now, and the 2 that aren't in TikTok jail are like 100 people. Attitude caffeinated. How the hell are you? Well, good. I'm glad you found me over here, because it's kind of seems kind of pointless to go live on TikTok on the account that's got about 100 followers on it. So I gotta wait till the 19th now, because the Norse pagans over there at TikTok got up in their feels about me making the radical idea, or me putting out the radical idea out there of seeking vengeance. Apparently there's peacenik, snowflake Norse practitioners. I had no idea. I thought it was a warrior a tradition. I still think it is. But they got very upset and came at me with arguments about the threefold law, which is not Norse, and karma, which is also not Norse. But the funny thing is that the video that they were really upset about, I won my appeal, and that video is still up. But TikTok's fucked up algorithms I keep bitching about still counts that as a strike against me to put the account in TikTok jail. However, I should say that we've been organizing over there on TikTok, looking for these kind of Christians that persecute others and reporting their accounts. And we've had 2 victories this week. Same dude, 2 different accounts, but the main account was Kill the Witch 21, I believe, is now in TikTok jail, and his other account is also in TikTok jail. There's another guy, I forget. We also got his account restricted. It takes a little bit of work. But those of you, if you're on TikTok and you're playing our vengeance game over there on TikTok, it's really a lot of fun. But I noticed I had not reported Kill the Witch 21 in about 3 days, but I reported his account and then reported his account, and then reported his account, and reported his account. And like, so like for the last couple days, I've been getting responses from TikTok about how they didn't suspend the account, and then finally one of those went through, and then other people were doing it too. I know, God, was it Power of the Occult? He got the same notification, so he's one of the people that turned him in too. I mean, if we can't team up and get an account taken down that's literally kill the witch, then we don't belong on social media. So it's a lot of fun doing to them what they do to us. It's become my new video game. I've been looking for just a new casual video game to sit there and play while I'm watching TV or doing other random shit. And canceling bigots is a lot of fun. So over there on TikTok, you can play it with us at Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3, and Witch School, which is WITCHSKEW. So hello all you people over here. I got more people on YouTube, of course, but I've got a bigger account on YouTube than Instagram. Instagram's kind of new for me. I've had it for a while, but haven't really used it much. This will be my second or third live, I think, over on I'm sorry, did I say TikTok? I meant Instagram. What are you growling about, dog? So I hadn't really done a whole lot with Instagram. I think this is my second or third live. Oh, it amazes me when there's a noise over there and the dogs go running that way. Yes, please just cause a total scene, both of you. Just you guys should go off. I think you should bark at nothing. That's what I think. I think so. You should throw a doggy fit. Yeah. Okay. I still need to create a TikTok account. That's pretty easy. You just need an email. And since I have 5 active email accounts for various things that I'm doing, it was really easy to set up. I haven't had to set up a new email account to get another TikTok account yet. But there's a million Gmail accounts out there. Wherever you go, you just get a free account. TikTok doesn't even seem to care if you have multiple accounts. Also, if you're over there on the TikTok side, which I know we've got at least one Attitude Caffeinated from TikTok over here, Wesley Follows Jesus has had 3 accounts, at least restricted, but to the extent where she's had to start 3 other accounts. So one of those accounts must have got a permanent ban, and that was one of our first organized targets in our the game Vengeance over there on TikTok. So Wesley Follows Jesus, Kill the Witch 21, and then Mexican King of America, I think, is his other account. I don't even remember the other account, but if you go over on my TikTok, Uncle Birch 2, there's videos about that. My pit bull's hearing your dogs and looking alarmed. That happens sometimes. We watch a lot of cute dog videos on our phones and shit, and the dogs hear that and go nuts. She still has an account. I forget her account is there. It might be like Wesley _ follows _ Jesus or something. But Wesley, she keeps having Wesley in her name. One person, Witchfoot, suggested that making an account without her Witchfoot name in it got her off the shadow ban on TikTok. So now I have a new one called Witch School, WITCHSKEWL. And that account does seem to be growing faster than Uncle Birch 3. So there might be something to that. I mean, it's not growing like crazy. I haven't really put a whole lot of videos on there, but whenever they put me in TikTok jail on one account, I spend more time on the other account. So, they're helping me do that. And then each account reaches a different audience. It's very interesting how the algorithm on TikTok works. Each account is reaching different witches that the other accounts don't reach for some reason. Different people are showing up on my For You page on TikTok. They're all witches. The Christians, for their fuckery, have forced me to find entirely new audiences of witches and end up teaching those witches too. So hello all you people who are on YouTube. Hello on Instagram. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans on YouTube and Instagram simultaneously today. doing our little thing called Ask Uncle Birch. I mean, we can talk about whatever you want to talk about, but what people usually want to talk about is they want to pick my brain about magic and witchcraft. And hello, Rebecca. It helps me keep my teaching muscles strong, and hopefully it's a community service for other people. Be sure and follow me on Instagram. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on that account. I'm just starting to spend a whole lot of time there. So that's Uncle Birch _ witch. So follow me over there. Follow me on YouTube. It's Uncle Birch. On TikTok, it's Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3. And now Witch School, WITCHSKEWL. All over Facebook. You can find all of my names there. Hello, George Phillips. How the hell are you? And this kind of thing's been, causing me to not neglect my viewers on YouTube and Instagram as much. So now I'm spending more time with you all. And Robin saying hi, Rebecca, George. Having a lovely day in New Orleans. We just had like a cold snap for a couple days, and now the temperature seems to be going up.
Yeah.
We're gonna be up to like 74 in a couple days. I think. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be nice.
What was yesterday? Was it the 50s or 60s?
50 something was like the high.
Yeah.
I think it was like 59 was the high. It was bad. I mean, then we had the wind. Now it's pretty damn nice. Fall is a lovely time to visit New Orleans. Maybe that's why we keep having to meet people all the time that keep coming here. They know. They know. Sounds great. It's snowing here. Where are you, Rebecca? I don't remember where everybody's from. Yeah, I really need to bump up this Instagram. I got 2 people on my live. I don't know. Instagram says that they notify people. I think my followers get notified on YouTube, and then TikTok's just the dark arts. I think you have to like manually select to be notified when people go live now on TikTok. 71 in California. With that, Robin. Hey, Robin. Ohio. Oh, yes. I guess it's snowing over there. Well, hopefully, we did get down to like 20 something last year. I think that was rare. Some plumbing froze. That's supposed to be rare too. But sunny Southern California over here on Instagram. It's Attitude Caffeinated. Yeah. Well, we definitely get some sun here. It's an interesting thing. It's like I remember this last year. We've only been here a couple of years. Not a whole lot of rain in the winter.
No.
It's like it all
Most of
happens in the
rain is
summer.
in the summer.
Yeah, and we have crazy we'll have like months of rains every other day or every day, and it just like pisses down. I think we need a giant funnel and a pipeline going to California and Arizona and shit. We have way more water than we need, and y'all need it over there.
So their summer is when they need water.
Yeah, we need a water pipeline way more than we need oil pipelines. Absolutely. So you probably already should know I'm Uncle Birch. I teach witchcraft for a living. That's kind of why we ended up here in New Orleans, and that's what people ask me about over here most of the time. I get notified here, but on YouTube it doesn't always happen. Huh. I don't know. Still, TikTok's interesting and all. I had an account of 65,000 followers, and now I had to make a new account, which is almost up to 3,000 followers now. But when I go live over there, I have about the same amount of people that I had when I had 65,000 followers. So I don't even know how legitimate your followers even are on TikTok. The majority of them have action with. So I don't even know how their algorithm works. But I don't believe the numbers. Like they say, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. It's like getting like 5,000 followers in a day, which was pretty common over there on TikTok. I just don't know how legit that is. Because, like I said, with 3,000 followers, I still have roughly the same amount of people when I go live. Now YouTube over here has been consistent. It's taken me like 10 years of not really trying to reach 9,000 followers. I think I'm almost up to 10,000 now. But for the majority of the time on YouTube, I had a very obscure account. Didn't say anything about witchcraft on it, and was like Freak Phil 1309. Now you can find it with Uncle Birch, so we're getting a lot more people that way. But I really wasn't trying to have a buttload of subscribers on YouTube. That was not the goal on YouTube. Now I'm not even sure what the goal is because there's so many places. But originally that's where I started. My public internet witchery. Scott's in Tennessee. Love my classes. Okay, you're in one of my classes. My November class is still open. I keep them open for the entire month that it starts, but November, level 1, November 1, 2021. Gotta sign up for the right class. It's still open, and you can find that at gumroad.com/witch school. WITCHSKEWL. Maybe somebody could throw that up there in the comments because it's kind of hard for me to do all that. My necklaces, Caleb. Wait a minute. It's not the Caleb I know. Caleb White. I thought that was. You can't be that same Caleb. But if you are, hey, how the fuck are you? I got a pentagram, earth, air, fire, water, spirit, top point spirit. In this configuration, it's symbolic of the right-hand path. In this configuration, it's symbolic of the left-hand path. And then we got the Chimaruta. Chimaruta, an Italian witch charm that literally translates to sprig of rue. And then got the Italian horn for Fortuna, and the key for Hecate. Uncle Birch, can you talk witchcraft? And this person says, hello, Alberto. Coming live on YouTube and Instagram at the same time. I don't know, traditional witchcraft. I don't know where to start. So like, what do you want to know about traditional witchcraft? Give me a little, narrow your parameters a little bit, because when I think, okay, what traditional witchcraft? I've got a huge amount of data coming in at the same time. So what would you like to know about traditional witchcraft? Because there are many traditions. Witchcraft is not a closed practice, but some forms of witchcraft are. Cochrane's craft, they refer to themselves as traditional. I do not know Cochrane or their craft. Wait, King God Tuts over here. Hello. Yeah, what, anything specific? For how long does anyone need to do the Lbrp before starting the middle pillar? For me, traditionally, in my tradition, it was about a year and a day. But we did I'm sorry, we did the Lbrp for a year and a day, then we did the greater ritual, the pentagram for a year and a day, and then the middle pillar. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's traditional everywhere, but that's the way I did it. Each was a requirement for one of the ranks, I believe. A greater ritual, the pentagram, was for high priest, and then the middle pillar was the follow-up after high priest. But my traditional witchcraft absorbed some ceremonial magic into it, which a lot of the traditions did, because the ceremonialists did not have their books burned. They were not widely persecuted. So a lot of the majority of their work stayed intact for witches to later borrow from, because all of our stuff was fragmented, broken apart, and a lot of stuff, burned. How can a solitary self-initiate? You cannot self-initiate, you can self-dedicate. Initiation requires another person to call you in and accept you and do the ritual, but you can self-dedicate. You can look for self-dedication rituals. I think Raven Gramassi had a really good self-dedication ritual in Italian witchcraft. It's a good book. And it mirrored a lot of the things that would come up in a traditional initiation. Just, one of the few people to do it properly in a solitary fashion. Yes, so 12 months for the Lbrp over here. So Uncle Birch coming to you live on YouTube and Instagram simultaneously on 2 different screens. You and Mind and Magic have me thriving in abundance. Thank you. Oh, thank you.
Magic is that
That's Freighter X, and thank you for reminding me. I got to get a hold of him. It's probably too late to try and get him on Wednesday's podcast, Wittershins, but I do need to get him scheduled because we. I think we almost, he was a hard guy to get scheduled. and we almost had it figured out, and then we started moving. And so
Oh.
then I just kind of lost track of it for like a year or so. But I did have Frater X on the hook come on the podcast. We can do that because it's an audio podcast. If it's a video podcast, I mean, maybe there'd be a way to put him on, but Frater Xavier, that's his whole thing. He will not come on the screen. Nobody gets to see his face. I'm one of the few people that knows who he is, and I am sworn to secrecy, and I will not tell you. But we now that you've reminded me, I'll try and send him a message today. But yeah, check out our podcast, Widdershins. If you come over here on YouTube, right after each broadcast, it gets published over here to YouTube. But broadcast live at Spreaker.com/user/Widdershins. But you can also find it live on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Tumblr, SoundCloud, and a bunch of fucking other places that I don't even remember. It's kind of automated, but Widdershins, Widdershins, a word that your witchy ancestors all used to know that most people don't know anymore. Let's see. I'm thinking about the witches who differentiate themselves from Wicca along the lines of Jim McGarry and Peter Pardon. Most authors are British, I think. Yeah, I've got an entire series on gumroad.com/witch school, WITCHSKEWL, witchcraft without Wicca. Now, although Gardner borrowed from all findable sources of witchcraft and magic to put together his version of Wicca, and he was right about a whole lot of things. He's messed up some things too. Let me see who's that. Lavola says hi, Birch and Marta. One of the things I always like to hit on. We know that Gerald Gardner studied Leland, Aradia Gospel of the Witches, or Aradia Gospel of the Witches, the oldest book on witchcraft that we know, which comes from an incident in the 1300s, traditionally, theoretically, mythologically, around the year 1313 in Tuscany, Italy. Where the witches of Tuscany were calling upon the goddess Diana to free them from the slavery of the Catholic Church and to send her daughter down as a kind of messiah figure to rescue them. And that would be Aradia. On her arrival in the charge of Aradia, towards the end, she says, when a priest shall have done you harm, you shall do him 3 times the harm, and do it in the name of me, who am queen of all witchery. Now, that's the first place that we hear this kind of threefold language existing in any craft text, and we know that Gardner was familiar with the text because he borrowed from it quite liberally. It is my belief that that's where Gardner got his idea, and he just flipped it. He flipped it to, you do harm, it's going to come back on you 3 times. But the original language was the daughter of the goddess, the teacher of witchcraft, teaching her practitioners how to do 3 times the harm to those that harm them. That would make perfect sense since it's an Italian tradition. Italians aren't going to go with that, do no harm. To this day in Strega, the accepted verse is never harm the innocent. That I can live with. The Wiccan Rede, not so much. So Gardner's Wiccan Rede, I believe, was derived from Aradia, Gospel of the Witches, and flipped on its head. Self-initiation. What's your opinion about the book by Schick and Sabato Cicero? Self-initiation in the Golden Dawn. I think, well, first of all, like I said over here on YouTube, you can't self-initiate, you can self-dedicate, but self-initiate into the Golden Dawn by David Griffin, though. It could be worse. But by the way, you and Frater Xavier, great old videos on YouTube. Yes. Well, Frater Xavier is the guy that gave me the idea to start teaching on Gumroad. And that led me to, teaching full-time and having that be my full-time job. And that led to us being able to close the brick and mortar store and leave Santa Cruz and not be involved in that little town's little fucking witch wars about little shit. And then we moved all over the place. And we lived in Hollywood for a while. And then we decided to come to New Orleans. And, I think we're staying here. But That being able to make my living off of the internet freed me to go wherever the fuck I wanted to go. And Mark's working from home too, so we were already free. So I did it very differently. I opened the brick and mortar and then later started a web presence. And then my goal was to eventually break free from the brick and mortar and not have to live in any one particular place. Now, a lot of my friends have brick and mortar witch stores, especially here in New Orleans. They just have a different model. They don't go to their shops. They go there in the morning when nobody's there, and do stuff and then get out of there. My shop, people expected me to be there. They would make pilgrimages to the shop to see me when they'd be on vacation and stuff. And if I wasn't at the shop, they'd be very disappointed. So if I'd had a model like my friends, I could have left the brick and mortar store open in Santa Cruz and still left. The most awesome person in the world has arrived. All right, Milton, the Insane Witch King, is here. Well, here on YouTube. We're here. We're on YouTube and Instagram today simultaneously. I've done the same thing on YouTube and TikTok, but right now I'm limited to my least active account, so it'd be kind of pointless to go on TikTok. And I need to spend more time over here on Instagram. So TikTok, an interesting thing, but there's just so much fuckery that happens on TikTok, and this inquisition against the witches that the Christians are allowed to partake in on TikTok does not happen here. Does not. They can't get organized enough to make it happen on YouTube or on Instagram. I've posted all of the videos that got flagged on TikTok to Instagram, and have had no fucking problem with that. Da, 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 da. I'm currently trying over here on Instagram. I'm currently trying to incorporate local lore and spirit to my practice. Any tips? Yeah, I saved those last two for you.
You're welcome.
Looks like the dog wants it too. Any thoughts on translating chants or rewriting them? If at all possible, I would say use, I don't know, Lucas, Brazil, okay. Chants lose their luster when you put them into other languages. They lose their ability to rhyme, they lose their rhythm, a lot of things. So if you're going to use chants from other cultures, if you can, learn enough of the language to do it in that language. If you can't, go ahead and translate them into the other one, but they lose a lot of their oomph. Like I think like Marta over here, if she had something in Russian and we translated it in English, it'd be totally different. Wouldn't rhyme anymore. The rhythm would be all fucking over the goddamn place. It'd be just literally a different chant. So rather than retranslating them into a different language, maybe making them in a different language, encompassing the basic idea of what they're trying to do in the chant in the one language, so you would have to know enough about that language to translate it over here into the other language, because the three R's, rhyming, rhythm, and repetition, those we want to have in any written magic or spoken magic, a chant, a statement of intent, whatever you got. And then the fourth rule, no negatives, no not, neither, nor, none, that kind of thing. It's one of those things that they missed in the formation of Wicca, or some Wiccans missed it. The magical mind does not recognize negatives. It deletes the word from the phrase. So when the Wiccans say, and it harm none, the witch mind deletes the none. And so what they're really hearing in the universe is, and it harm. Hello.
Where's a cup? I need for like milk for different things.
There's probably a cup right on the edge of the sink. Rinse it out and use it, because it's probably your cup. Where's your cup from last night? It's probably hanging on the edge of the sink where you usually leave that kind of stuff. So whatever the case, rinse one out. Rinse it out. You can do it. What are they saying over here on YouTube? Let's see. What's your opinion on initiations? It's better or remaining solitary? I think you need to know both. You know, people that have been in group magics have reason to be solitary. um, you don't really know those reasons if you're solitary from the get-go. I think you need to be able to interact in groups and by yourself. Um, if you're in a path that requires initiation, you should go through the rules. You know, go through the initiation process. Now, however, some of the rules in some traditions are manipulated by humans, and we need to steer clear of those. You know, I think of, I'm a priest in Palo Mayombe. In Palo Mayombe, the people, a lot of the people will tell you that a gay person cannot be initiated into the tradition. But the spirits don't seem to care. And in African traditional religions, all the ones I know of, the spirit makes the decision. The priest and priestess, and all the different names they have for priest and priestess, only perform a divination and an initiation ritual. And they perform that based on what the spirits told them. If the spirits told them yes, you know they can be accepted, or no, they can't be accepted, and then they don't perform the ritual. But they do not get to make the decision. And I know countless gay poleros. So clearly the spirits don't know. So there are rules that we are told are rules in some of these traditions that aren't actually rules, because in Palo, the spirits decide the rules. So people will tell you these are the rules, and then those don't turn out to actually be the rules. So it's kind of tricky in some of those situations, a slippery slope. You know. What's your suggestion for binding the action not wanted into the formation of a statement of intent or residual creation? Probably the best way to look at that is the caduceus, the double snaked caduceus, which is actually, you know, the original caduceus only had one snake, but the one that we think of associated with medicine. That is a depiction of both a concept. In every concept, the opposite exists. If we call love, hate is an equivalent of that. Hate is a portion of that equation. It is the other half. And if we look at the two snakes are representing that. One snake's representing the positive side of that thing. One snake's representing the negative side of that thing. And the pole in the middle is the deciding factor. So written on paper, we've got the two snakes on the pole. Pole goes up. There was traditionally like a little oval shape at the top of the pole, and then two wings, like eagle wings, coming off it. An object or something symbolic of this, the action, would be placed in the oval. And that would be, we have both things existing, the positive and the negative, and the thing that we place in the center is the thing that decides which one of those we're calling, and then the other action is bound down. But I would say something like, let's say, you know, I call forth money and prosperity free of negative entanglement and bad outcome, or words to that effect. So free from, not, you know, you wouldn't say, you know, I call forth money and abundance without negative entanglement, because without is a negative, and then that won't be heard in the magical context. So free of seems a pretty good coverall for all of those. It's a positive statement freeing up one of those sides without binding down that with a negative. If that, hopefully that made sense. You said at some point to remember as a golden rule, when you banish, you must invoke. So is the Lbrp enough on its own if you're invoking archangels? See, the Lbrp that I learned, there you go. Hey, Mojo, knock it the fuck off. I'm trying to answer a question. Hello, Sarah Park. Let's see. So the lesser banishing ritual, the pentagram, is a bad name for the ritual, because what I see in the traditional ritual is you go one time counterclockwise, which is banishing. And at each of the quarters, you're tracing a pentagram, and the pentagram that you're tracing at each of the quarters is a banishing earth pentagram. This is where the witches that weren't paying much attention fucked up, because then they try and use it for invoking, and they're doing a banishing earth pentagram on each of the quarters, and that's wrong. So we have going counterclockwise around the circle, a banishing pentagram at each quarter, and then they start at where they left off, or they start again at the east, and then there's an invoking ritual. And then we have the specific pentagram drawn at each corner, the Hebraic god names used, all that kind of thing. And then, traditionally the archangels before me, Raphael behind me, Gabriel, etc., etc. So my view of the ritual is they banish and then they invoke. The ritual is called the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, but the actual movements in the rituals, there's one full movement of banishing and then a full movement around invoking. Make sense? So they knew that. It's just not overtly explained because it's ceremonial magic. They don't like to do that. Hey, Freighter Fractionist, how are you? I'm blinding the action at once. Steer clear of humans. That's a good idea. I think that clears it up for me. Okay, cool. What was that one? Oh, for the binding thing. Okay. Uncle Birch, come to you live on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously on 2 separate screens. So I will be going like back and forth doing this little thing called Ask Uncle Birch. If you're not following me on Instagram, follow me over there to Uncle Birch _witch. Spending a lot of time beefing up my Instagram account because I really, neglected it. I pretty much just reposted videos that I posted on TikTok because they have an automatic function to do that. But I've had the Instagram account for years and just really have spent absolutely no effort or time on it at all. So those, 427 subscribers I have or whatever is, from me not trying. Here on YouTube, been there a lot longer, but I always kind of tried to stay under the radar. You had to look for Freakville 1309 to find my account for close to 10 years. Now over here on YouTube, it just says Uncle Birch, so easy to find now. And then, of course, on TikTok, I'm Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3, and Witch School, WITCHSKEWL. We're having a whole lot of fun over there, canceling bigots and Nazis and bigoted Christians. Oh, what fun we're having over on TikTok with that thing. But they drew first blood, What can I say? Hello, did I say Sarah? Oh, hello, Sarah. Hello, Freighter. I said hello to you. Anybody new over here on YouTube I haven't said hi to? Okay, I'm just checking. So we do this little thing called Ask Uncle Birch pretty much all over the internet. You have a question about witchcraft or magic or any type of magic, you ask. Oh, and there's Freighter Fractionist over there too. Oh, I'm on the big screen. Oh, you can't do that on Instagram? I had no idea. Okay, I'm on the big screen over there. Let's see, what was I saying about that? Oh yeah, I've been doing that forever. It helps keep my teaching muscles strong. It helps me know what the newer generations want to know about witchcraft. They want to know different stuff than we tended to want to know back in my day, and I need to be abreast of that because I'm constantly teaching witches all over the world. I have, I believe, 5 level 1 year-in-a-day courses going right now at Witch School, WITCHSKEWL, gumroad.com/witch school. And the level 1, November 1, 2021 is still open. The level 2, 2021 is still open too. You just got to make sure which class you're trying to sign up for. Sarah over here, you believe you're in the November one, right on. Well, Merry Meet, or Merry Meet again, one of those two. But have those going, $35 a month for a year, and you take it at your own speed. It's pretty much shot on this same camera, a lot of it in the same perspective. Matter of fact, where Sarah is now, it's a lot noisier in the class because we're in Hollywood in the penthouse tower that we lived in. And then by the end of your class, we're here in New Orleans, and I'm teaching you the spell that I did to get us into New Orleans. So, stay tuned in your class. Towards the end, you'll get that one. Worth every single penny. And there's Attitude Caffeinated over there, too. You just got to make sure that you sign up for the right class. Always people screwing that up. I just signed up for November level 2. I'm thinking about how to do level 3, tossing around whether or not it should be initiates only. I'm not sure. But me and Marta have not done an initiation in a couple years because it's taken on a whole new world. Like we have to uh, tweak the initiation ritual to be done remotely on a grand scale. We've got like several hundred people all over the world chomping at the bit for that. You got to figure out how to do that, but it's gonna take rewriting the ritual. There's just too much of the ritual where you have to be there, and it's like we can't really run you through the fivefold kiss by yourself. That'd be weird. There's a lot of things going to have to be taken out of the ritual and new things put in the ritual. So we're working on figuring that out. But there will be a level 3 coming. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what to do with that. I'm currently divided between translating, rewriting English chants and titles to Portuguese, or just mixing English and Portuguese. I use it to practice exclusively in English, but I'm trying to switch. Interesting. Well, let me know. Let me know how that works out. I just think, if it's especially like if it was a rhyming chant in the beginning, it's going to be hard to translate it into another language. It won't stick. But I guess if it's not rhyming in the first place, maybe you can do that. It occurs to me, Marta over here, who's very quiet today, but she's here. She recently started to be able to learn stuff about the pagan culture in Russia, which has been really slow in coming out because it was so buried and so suppressed, just almost fucking lost. And I think I was over here on my computer doing something for witch school, and in the background, I kind of I recognize a lot of stuff in Russia. I recognize a lot of words. I can pretty much say, hello, goodbye, thank you, please, that kind of thing, or call you a bitch. But I don't know the language. But she was listening to something, and I knew exactly what was going on. It was a spell, and there's a certain lilt that when somebody steps into their spiritual mode, I've heard Native Americans do it, I've heard it in Portuguese, I've heard it in Spanish, I've heard it in Bantu, I've heard it in English, I've heard it in Gaelic. There's just a certain lilt and tone that is fucking universal and will probably go into the series that I've been teaching of a cultural similarity. Because even though I didn't know the language, I knew exactly what was going on, and I went and asked Marta, hey, what is she doing there? And Marta described exactly what I thought was occurring in the ritual. It was like, her, like, appealing to her ancestors kind of thing. I've also heard that in yes, I've also heard it in German, too. I've heard, Nordic people do that, and there's a tone of voice when you're appealing to the other side, a lilt to it, a rhythm to it, something about it, to where even if I don't understand the language, I know what they're doing. And I have that same thing, like, in Palo, it's a mixture of Spanish and Bantu. And it's like, but they'll be speaking, it's like, I know exactly what they're doing right now, what they're saying, and what's going to come next. And every time I was kind of right about it. Is there something you can provide as far as school to go into in person? Attitude Caffeinated said, hi, Marta.
Hello.
I'm thinking about that. I started to was going to teach in person. That was one of the things that I wanted to do here when we got to New Orleans, because I hadn't done that in several years. After I closed my brick and mortar, it was all digital, it was all online, all like this. I hadn't been able to teach and see the people I'm teaching, except like at Hex Fest and festivals, that kind of thing, workshops. And my first class was scheduled, I think it was March, right when the pandemic was happening. And I was going to teach it at Hex New Orleans, and I was really looking forward to seeing people's faces teaching. I knew we were going to make a whole lot of money in somebody else's shop, especially when it's so geared towards tourism here. But then COVID started happening, and Marta says, you're not leaving the house. I'm not going to let you, and if you do, you're going to have to sleep in the backyard for a couple weeks before you come back in. And so
the car.
yeah. So I pleaded through I pleaded with my friend Christian Day to come up with some sort of mobile option, and he resisted, he resisted, he resisted. And then 2 days before my class was supposed to start, the shop had to shut down for COVID. And he had to come up with a way to do that. So that's, oh God, what is, I don't even remember what it is now. I haven't taught there in so long, but he's got an online, I think it's the Hex Education Network. That's what it is. And then there was people teaching on there. So then, my attempt to teach in person actually got shifted to remote, but we're getting back to a real world. Um, so I don't know. Most likely I'll be in Tennessee in April. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go, or if that's going to go. We'll see. At Cauldron Fest, I'll be. As far as in person, I'll be at Hex Fest in August 2022. I'm teaching 3 workshops there. They're already listed, so if you go to hexfest.com, you can find those. It's an excuse to come to New Orleans. There's way more witches and magic users here than most cities, even more than Salem. And I'll be teaching 3 classes there. You can see what classes if you go to hexfest.com. If you're interested in that, you got to get tickets now. That shit sells out, and especially when they hear Uncle Birch is teaching 3 classes, because I usually do like 1. That's what locals usually only have to do 1. I just signed up for November. Oh, okay. I already answered that one. And this guy's saying buy a cat. Okay. Uncle Bert's coming to you live from New Orleans on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. Answer random questions about witchcraft, my classes, all that kind of thing. So eventually we may get to that. There's plenty of people, friends of mine, think I should open a brick and mortar here. If I suddenly have a big chunk of cash that has nowhere to go, and maybe I'll consider that. But it'll have to be the type of thing where I don't have to be there all day to run that, because my full-time job now is teaching witchcraft. I don't know of any chance that we'll be in Chicago next year. I've never been to Chicago, so there'd have to be a reason. I made a rare exception for Cauldron Fest, but if somebody wants me to teach at their festivals, at the very least they're gonna have to pay for my travel and lodging, and hopefully pay me too. That'd be great, but I can't bip around the country. On my own expense when I don't have a product to sell. I'm not like, I'm not slinging a book when I'm teaching at a workshop. I don't have a thing that I'm making money off of there. But speaking of which, you can also find us at the lovershermeticsupply.com. And we did have a shop, a shop in the vendor area of Hexfest last year from lovershermeticsupply.com. I know I got a lot of customers over here on YouTube, and then customers over here on Instagram. And if you are a past customer of Sacred Grove, we are now the Lovers Hermetic Supply and the Sacred Grove. We kind of joined forces, and we're working on a pretty much a 2-week turnaround right now. And those of you that have been customers of mine in the past, it was at least a 2-month turnaround to get your stuff. When I had to do everything myself, it took me a lot longer than the way that we're doing things now. My mom has had all kinds of unexplained experiences her whole life. She's slowly exploring for answers. Is there a way that I could help her? Probably needs to read something. She's your mom, so she's old enough to still read books. I'm just trying to think. If you go Google Uncle Birch, you find my Amazon influencer page. And over there, one of the first things I did over there was a recommended reading list. So I have a whole bunch of books over there. Peruse through those and see, if there's something that, calls to you. Catholics are good with hoodoo books that use the Psalms and stuff like that. They like to hear familiar stuff, and that's always an option. I don't know if she's Catholic, but that popped into my head for some reason. But probably a book to start out with. Okay, looking over here on YouTube, all right. Eckhart Tolle's spiritual teachings. Yeah. I'm trying to pull a title out of my ass, but yeah. back when I had the brick and mortar for at least the first 10 years, I read every book that I put on the shelf. After a while, it was kind of hard to keep up with that. But have definitely read his work, but I can't think of one right now. And practical magic's a good one for the faint of heart. That explains a lot of legitimate stuff in a way that's not scary, like The Craft. As far as movies go. No, I do not think it's a wise idea to curse the moon, the sun, and the fae. That is what led me to TikTok in the first place. I merely went over there. I said, "What fuckery is that?" Allegedly, somebody was trying to curse the sun, moon, and the fae on TikTok. Some kid, and I think that's an urban legend. I was never able to find the person that allegedly did that, but I found a lot of people talking about somebody that allegedly did that. Unless their page got taken down before I got there. I never found anybody that actually did such a stupid thing, but there was a lot of people that talked about stupid things. But what I did find when I got to TikTok is a bunch of well-meaning new witches that like to call themselves, here I'll put a quote on each screen, baby witches, and a lot of people teaching absolute bullshit. A lot of people that couldn't teach their way out of a wet paper bag teaching witchcraft on TikTok. And then it kind of became one of my personal missions on TikTok to change that dichotomy, I guess. And so that I've been teaching there for a while. I had 65,000 followers, and then the Christians got organized, took that page down. So now I have Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3, and Witch School, WITCHSKEWL. And still there. And then I've got, I think it's my September class. I've got 5 year-in-a-day courses going right now. And one of those courses, I was spending so much time on TikTok that I never came over here to Instagram or YouTube or Twitter or Facebook and advertised the class there. I only advertised it on TikTok. And so I've got a year-in-a-day course with about 50 TikTok witches in the class. And I absolutely advocate teaching as a way of learning. And I'm waiting to see it happen. My students are, the TikTok witches are going to start teaching real witchcraft on TikTok. And my students, after class 3, can kick ass on anybody else's students. Sorry. I ain't bragging if it's true. My students, after just a few classes, are going to know more about witchcraft than most of the shit you're going to find out here. So I want to see that happen. And the name of our tradition at this stage is the Circle A system of magic, and the prime directive of the Circle A system of magic is to covertly affect all known forms of craft by our presence within them. So our kids interact with all kinds of different systems, and those systems get better by having our kids there. So I want to see that happen on TikTok. And I knew you were joking over there, Milton, but it was still funny. Have you found any of the cursed bottles that people bury in their backyards on TikTok? I think they're all great for that. No, haven't found those yet. I remember, God, it was within this last year, somebody in, oh yeah, there's TikTok witches.
You know there's a Saints game right now, right?
Oh my God, I did not know that. Are we winning?
No.
Oh, well, I'm glad I'm not watching. Shit. Yeah, I forgot that. It was at noon. Oh well. Guess I'm doing this right now. Oh yeah. Indigo. Oh, hey, you know what? Your name makes much more sense since I live in New Orleans right now. I never got that, the go part. What was I saying about that?
Takes.
Yeah, yeah. On TikTok, it's all about hashtags. So there's witches of TikTok, witch talk, occult talk. Somebody will just do a hashtag witchcraft or witch, but I think witch talk and witches of TikTok have been the big ones. And witches of TikTok that started appearing on the For You page of a bunch of militant Christians, and then they organized to mass report accounts to get them taken down, basically. I went on TikTok for an hour, witchcraft stuff, and realized it was very unhealthy and unhealthy for me. Yeah, I'm hoping to change that. At least, have an effect on that. Um, I believe in, the magical cause and effect. Every action has a reaction, not the same as physics. Every action does not have an equal and opposite reaction. In metaphysics, every action has a reaction. So my actions on TikTok will hopefully ripple out and change TikTok ultimately. So I'm coming to you live on YouTube and Instagram right now. Only a couple people on Instagram, but haven't spent a whole lot of time on my account on Instagram, so that happens. Hello, Penny. She's a lot less scared these days. That happens. My Catholic mom burnt my books a couple times. Always very resistant. And then later in life, she'd call me up to have me pull a tarot card or ask me, what to do if like a friend had a ghost in their house or something like that. So the worm will turn. You got to be patient. What is it, dog? All right, I'm just looking at both the screens. We spend a lot of time over here answering random questions about witchcraft and magic. I got more people over here on YouTube. I guess they like to watch me on the big screen or something.
Ew.
Ew.
Nacho cheese covered Oreo cookies.
Ew. Ew. There's a thing on TikTok about eating chili, like a cinnamon roll with chili poured over it.
Ew.
And it's like a southern thing, and everybody's arguing over whether that's a real southern thing or not.
I don't even care.
Yeah, yeah. I don't care. Just because we live in the South doesn't mean we have to eat all of the stuff.
We eat gator.
People are always afraid of what they don't understand. Absolutely. And, that's, if Christians can, step outside themselves, we can show them all of the things that their religion borrowed from us, we can get along much better. Especially like Catholics. You can show them the forms of witchcraft that disguise themselves as Catholicism, and they're much more accepting. Uncle Birch coming to you live, New Orleans, where I'm missing the Saints game for you people, and because I forgot it was on. But that's the only football I watch is the Saints because it's a very important thing around here. Probably should watch LSU too because it's equally important around here. And everywhere I go today, people are gonna ask me, "Did you see the Saints? Did you see the Saints?" You gotta like be able to say something. But I know we've got like a couple of our best players out today, so I don't expect it to be going very well. Did it when you looked, did it say what quarter it was?
Yeah, third.
Third. I was already third, and we're losing.
We're losing. It was 6-20. Yeah.
That could change in football.
Yeah.
You can get 7 points a shot. Anyway, we're talking about witchcraft, not football. Although the Saints, the last time the Saints won, it was against Tom Brady. I guess he's in
The Patriots. I mean,
now he's the Buccaneers, I think.
Yeah.
So
Tampa.
Tom Brady's wife, what's her name?
Giselle.
Giselle. Oh, we got the Brazilian kid over here. Is he still there? Lucas. She does witchcraft to help him win. She's come out and said that. There have been articles about her using her witchcraft, which I would assume is some Brazilian form of witchcraft, to make the Saints win, or Tom Brady, whatever team he's on. And the last time they came to New Orleans voodoo beat Giselle's witchcraft. So that was kind of cool. That was the last time we won. We got 21 people over here, a couple people over there. So do follow me on Instagram at UncleBirch_witch. Been spending more time over there. Um, any magical or witchy way to help me understand what I'm supposed to be doing with my life without submitting to the system of the soul destruction we're currently in? I don't know any easy way to do that. Often witches will ask me, how do I find my path? And I say, start walking, and you will not see your path in front of you. You will not perceive it. You will start walking it, and then eventually look over your shoulder and go, "Whoa, what an interesting path I've been on." You'll stumble upon it. Um, uh, Figuring out what you're going to do with your life, it fell on me. At 13 years old, I was being taught how to run a witch store. I was being taught how to teach witchcraft, and I sure in the fuck didn't think that was what I was going to be doing with my entire life. And I've had several other jobs and even careers, but always that was a sideline, and eventually that became the main line. Um, I never saw that coming. Just follow without sounding cheesy, man. Follow your heart, follow your bliss. If you have to work a shitty job, have something that fills your soul somewhere else. It's easy to do on the internet. You can have a side spiritual thing going on the internet, or you can be doing like tarot readings, divination. Um, yeah, okay, Lucas is still there. Yeah, she's Brazilian, so I would imagine there's at least some Brazilian magic in her form of witchcraft. She called it witchcraft in the interview that I saw, but she in front of God and everybody said that she does witchcraft before each of his games. That was back when he was on the Patriots, so I'm assuming that she still does that. So New Orleans voodoo kicked their asses. Resources for learning more about my indigenous ancestors. I'm 30% indigenous Mexican. I don't know any resources for that. I'm sure they're out there. You're gonna have to look around. Check out. Yeah, you're on TikTok. Hoodoo Brujo. I would ask him. If he was here right now, I'd ask him your question because he's the expert I know on those type of practices. But Hoodoo Brujo, who I think now he has a second account. I think it's Hoodoo like WHODO, or yeah, Hoodoo Brujo. But yeah, follow him, and he's really cool. If you DM him. Um, Matter of fact, I'm supposed to consult him soon on his shop. Um, Hi there, good day to you too. Um, when I'm asked why over here on YouTube, when I'm asked why witchcraft, I honestly say because I could no longer be hypocritical as a Catholic. Well, you know, I've of course grown up. They tried to make me Catholic, and then I found out what the Catholics, did to our people, and how they ran all of the Inquisitions, that kind of thing. And I was always very butthurt at the Catholics. And then eventually, over years of study, I come to realize how many forms of witchcraft and other magical traditions, like voodoo, um, survived by disguising themselves as Catholicism. If you look at Santeria is a very good example of a Catholic disguised African traditional religion. It even says it. Santeria refers to the saints. It's all about the saints. The saints are actually representing African concepts or African deities, but they don't see a division when they call on this white-faced saint on a fucking 7-day candle. And since the Catholics stole their entire religion from us and all of their ritual craft and their practices, it's really easy to do. They came up with the idea in not Germany, Germany, and England and Ireland, way back to convert the pagan gods into saints, to get the pagan people to attend their churches. An interesting practice that I'm sure didn't work very well. But then the funny thing always with that is that the people that actually built the churches, the peasants and workers and stuff, they tended to be pagan. And so when they built the churches all the way actually through France, all the way up into Ireland, they built the pagan gods into the very foundation of the church. We have these elaborate churches with foliate masks. Those are like green man gods with faces made of leaves and shit. Goddesses with hair made of fruit and flowers and things. literally into the churches. And then they go into the churches, and it's a bunch of saints that are actually representing their gods. Made a really easy transition to do, but then turns around to bite them in the ass. It bites the Catholics in the ass that they came up with that idea, because then we have all kinds of disguised witchcraft and paganism that masquerading as Catholicism. And voodoo definitely did that, and Santeria definitely did that too. Especially like the New Orleans variety of voodoo. So now my saying is, I would like to thank the Catholic Church for providing my ancestors a convenient place to hide all those years while they were out chasing them, because several forms of Irish and Italian witchcraft survive by disguising themselves as Catholicism. They spend a lot of time talking about Mary, the saints, the angels, and then Jesus just doesn't come up a whole lot, basically. But certainly enjoy teaching people about themselves, spirituality, their forces of mind. I'm not sure I'd break into the market, nor do I feel as if I have anything to teach. I say just start. The best way to learn magic is to teach it. Anything. The best way to learn it is to teach it. Your students are going to ask you things you never thought about, and then you're going to have to find out. I'd say just start it. I mean, I did that on YouTube. I was absolutely qualified to do that. I've been doing that most of my life, but just started doing it. And originally over here on YouTube, I only did that because people would come into the shop, and there'd be like, several standard spells that, would come up all day, every day. And I would teach people how to do them, sell them the products for doing the thing. They would keep notes most often, and then quite often they'd get home and lost the notes, forget something that I said, blah, 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 blah. So originally on YouTube, I made several videos for the common spells and, requests that would come up all day. And then when they'd call up, I go, oh, no problem. Go over to YouTube, watch this video, you'll be fine. That was the whole, I had a very limited vision on YouTube, and it was alien. I didn't think we were supposed to do that kind of thing, and resisted it when somebody suggested it to me. I said, oh, you can't do that. You can't teach witchcraft on YouTube. It's against the rules. It's not traditional, blah, 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 blah. I sound like such an old fart when I heard those words come out my mouth. Made my next video like 10 minutes later. I figured out how to run the fucking camera for the first time, and just fucking did it. And then, as you can see, the YouTube channel took on a whole life of its own. That's where I started doing my correspondence courses through, off the private side of YouTube that you can't see. And then got me to where I am now, where I teach witchcraft for a living. It's my full-time job, and I don't want to brag, but I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. Thank you, all my ancestors, all my relations. I said, just do it. Kind of like, how do I find my path? Start walking. Start walking. You'll find your path later when you look over your shoulder. But yeah, so at 13 years old, I had found what I'd be doing the rest of my life. I had no idea. Hello, son.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
That is so good.
I
Show
show thing?
thing?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I do have to pee, so I'm gonna go visit the boys' room and be shown a thing, and I'll be right back. And we're back. Let's see. I've seen you stitch his stuff before. Okay, I forgot. Whose stuff? Hoodoo Brujo. Absolutely, absolutely. I would consider him a friend of mine. And if I do end up doing the Cauldron Fest, which, I'm signed up for it, so I don't know. We'll see what happens. Tennessee's really bad on the vaccine and that kind of thing, so I'm kind of reluctant, even though I'm, way fully vaccinated. I have all 3 shots, and we'll see about that. But hoping to meet him there, and I think he's coming to Hex Fest, so I'll definitely meet him there if not. But you should get over to hexfest.com. Why don't you come to New Orleans, man? You got to come to New Orleans and meet Uncle Birch. And it's an epic amount of presenters we have, and there's rituals, and the riverboat ritual and dinner is just epic. We take a classic riverboat out on the Mississippi and cruise around with a boat full of witches. It's just way cool. And then all of the several of our local haunts are filled with witches. The vampires who they own a restaurant and a shop here. They also have a speakeasy that's pretty hard to find, that is entirely populated by witches most of the time, witches and vampires as we get along. And but definitely Hexfest weekend, it's just full of fucking witches having a good time, man. Yeah. So hexfest.com, check that out. You got to get tickets soon, because it sells out. And when word gets out that Uncle Birch is teaching 3 classes, oh my God, it's gonna fucking seriously sell out. And when word gets out that one of those classes Uncle Birch is teaching is Sex, Magic, and Beyond, oh, it's gonna sell out. Every version of that class that I've taught has been widely sought after, I've got to say. What do you think of ritual magic for protection? Things like the Lbrp seem potentially dangerous to evoke unfamiliar spirits in ritual. I go with my my transformation ritual. Over here on YouTube, look up Psychic Self-Defense Shields Up. You'll see how I view those things. Megan Cade, how the hell are you? Yeah, most of the time it's hard to find. Most of the time it's full of witches, just not when I'm there. Well, no. It is. It is. We're pretty sure. Last time you were here, we pinned down. When you said you were there, is when our friend Sean posted that he was there. He just doesn't look very witchy. No, him and his wife were there. You just probably didn't recognize them. He looks rather straight. But there were some witches there. But Hexfest weekend, absolutely. I mean, matter of fact, opening night of Hexfest, it was just too many witches. I had too many people coming up, hey, Uncle Birch, and everybody wanted to take selfies and stuff. It just like, I kind of got overwhelmed, and I hung out on the balcony most of the night. It was just too many fucking witches. But they're there. I mean, even like when I've gone out with Christian Day and Brian Kane, they're very dressed down. They don't have their eye makeup on and all their black stuff on. Matter of fact, I think last time we went there, Christian was wearing this very loud Hawaiian shirt. He didn't look very witchy either. Hello, Maddie over here on Instagram. Yes, I'm coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously on 2 separate screens right now. Coming to you live from New Orleans, talking about witchcraft, magic, that kind of thing. If you're not following me on Instagram, you should do that because I'm using that more. I'm going live there more and that kind of thing. But over there, I'm Uncle Birch _witch. And so around the 19th, my larger TikTok account, Uncle Birch 2, comes out of TikTok jail. So then I'll probably go live over there too, at least till the Christians get organized and throw me back into TikTok jail. But we're making some progress over there. We've gotten 3, at least that I know of, accounts of problematic Christians and Christian bigots taken down. So we are over there on TikTok. There's an inquisition going on. The Christians are organized against witch accounts and mass reporting them. And on TikTok, no humans actually review the shit. So if you get mass reported, quite often you get taken down. So we're using their weapons against them basically over there on TikTok. It's kind of a fun game, actually. Very different video quality between YouTube and Instagram. I'm just marveling at here. Wait, did I follow Attitude Caffeinated back? Let me see. No, okay. I must have, because unfollow is an option. Okay, I did not unfollow you. Christian Whack-A-Mole, absolutely. Well, the latest one that we got taken down was Kill the Witch 21. And, you know, that was a no-brainer. That should have, you know, the complaint should have gone through immediately, but it took, you know, some repeat complaining to make that happen. See if I missed anything on YouTube. Okay. Yeah, I reported the heck out of him. Yeah. Well, I reported his account like, I don't know, 10 times, just over and over. I just kept reporting it. And for days I kept getting responses. You know, several of the responses didn't take it down. But then two of them, I got two separate responses about his account being taken down. So apparently, you know, it can take some time, but just while you're there, just keep reporting the account, You know, hate speech seemed to work. If you do bullying, you've got to provide who they were bullying, and you know, it was definitely, I mean, Kill the Witch 21 was definitely hate speech right away. Oh, you miss Sacred Grove in Santa Cruz. Well, thank you. You know, I miss seeing the people, but I do not miss running a brick and mortar and having to be there most of the day, every day. Miss a couple people in Santa Cruz. Mostly, I think in Santa Cruz, I miss places. You know, Olitas on the wharf, drinking, you know, cheap margaritas and tacos while watching the whales jump out of the water. Oh, that was a great spot. Reading over here. Has there been any movie representing the craft that's really close to the truth? Actually, I think the craft didn't do a bad job at all. Matter of fact, the quarter calls that they use in the craft, I swear they stole from me. It was like almost word for word, you know, Hail, Guardians, the Watchtowers, the East, that kind of thing. That's my quarter calls, man. But, you know, they had to Hollywood it up. They had to do Hollywood shit. And, you know, Fairuza Balk, the bad witch in The Craft, was a practicing witch at the time. And right after the movie, she bought the oldest occult store in Hollywood, Pan Pipes, and was owning that for, you know, several years. It was like when we lived in Hollywood, it was a stone's throw from our tower. So she, you know, I'm sure they had consultants, but I'm sure she consulted the fuck out of the thing. So it was pretty accurate, but they had to do the Hollywood thing. But, you know, like I always say, like if you want to see the bad love spell, see the love spell in The Craft and see how it turned out. That's how the bad love spell turns out. You want to see the good love spell, you go watch Practical Magic. And that love spell tends to not be as problematic. And it worked out. For the most part, I guess. Hate speech and other. Yes. Yes. So, yes, we're striking back. And then I had a bunch of Norse pagans on TikTok. That's why I'm in TikTok jail right now. It's not just the Christians, but some of the Norse pagans, a couple of them that are peacenik snowflakes, sided with the Christians and started reporting my account because they want to say two wrongs don't make a right, and everything you do to somebody's going to come back on you threefold. And I'm like, did I give you the impression that I subscribe to the threefold law, or karma, or the Wiccan Reed? Because you've got a misimpression somewhere. What plants besides white sage do you find being used wrong? You know, not much. Not much. I mean, the usage can vary. Like, you know, some people like, uh, what is it, patchouli. I was brought up using patchouli for like love and lust, that kind of thing. And hoodoo, it's more of a money thing. But I see that in the nature of patchouli, it makes sense that the plant would do that kind of thing, but the usage kind of changes. But if you have one specific culture that's the only one using that plant, their usage carries through. It's like Native Americans were the only ones using white sage. It's indigenous to the southern portion of the United States and the upper portion of Latin America. Um, period. Only. Doesn't grow in England, and there's all the other sages grow everywhere else, but that one sage just grows here. Unless, you know, maybe people took it and cultivated it other places, and you know, maybe it's some people's invasive species now. I don't know. But, you know, if they're the only people using it, you know, they get to decide what its use is. But white sage is pretty much the only one that I would say is being used wrong. I see other plants being used differently, but I do find that in the nature of the plant. Now, it's not just what Native Americans said about the plant, i.e., white sage is used for creating the proper atmosphere for the Great Spirit to enter, which in witch speak is invoking, and then everybody's using it for banishing, and that's why everything goes wrong. I find that to be the nature of white sage. I don't find anything just communing with the plant um, that would lead it to drive out things. It's for invoking things, and people using white sage to get rid of like spiritual activity, that kind of thing, bad spiritual activity in their house. It's gonna make everything worse, and it does. Do you know any legit witch stores in San Diego? Not in this day and age. I don't. Lost track. I used to, you know,
How far is Eye of the Cat from San Diego?
probably an hour, maybe two. You know, Long Beach. Drive up to Long Beach. I would take a trip up to Long Beach and go to the Eye of the Cat. But I don't know of a good witch store in San Diego.
Are we still watering that plant? It's starting to droop.
Yeah, yeah. Just watered it yesterday.
Wonder when
Yesterday.
it's drooping.
It might not like the cold too. It got kind of cold.
Yeah, we need to bring it inside. It's supposed to be an indoor plant.
Yeah. Yeah. So it attacks you, kneecap them. Absolutely. Can you explain the difference between a hex, a curse, and jinx? Unfortunately, my TikTok account was restricted before I could comment on somebody that I saw saying that on TikTok. A curse and a hex are two different words for the same thing. So I saw somebody say that they're totally different. No, a hex and a curse are the same fucking thing. A jinx is a different thing. Jinx is a different thing. And that's like, you know, it'd be like attacking a person's money, attacking a person's luck, that kind of thing with a jinx. Where a hex and a curse is just a volatile bag of spiritual shit you throw at somebody that just, as soon as it gets on them, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. Um, both of those. Spirit Witch on TikTok. Doesn't she work in a shop in San Diego? You know, she might. I know her. She's one of my students, and I've met her, but I don't know. I would hit her up. Hit her up, send her a message, ask her. And I don't think she's over here. But the Spirit Witch, yeah, I would just hit her up and ask her because I'm not sure. And let me know too. You know, if there's a cool shop in San Diego, then next time somebody asks me, I'll know. But don't know. I knew some cool shops way back in the way back. Raven Grimassi had a shop near San Diego once upon a time, but it's not there anymore. Okay, I'm looking over here on YouTube, not missing anything over there. Same couple people over here on Instagram. Uncle Birch.
Smells some good flowers.
That's that thing I keep smelling. It smells like perfumey. It's something that blooms in the fall around here. Uncle Birch coming to you live from New Orleans on Instagram and YouTube simultaneously. Probably be here for a little bit longer, but I wasn't planning on this being my whole day. I already missed the Saints game for you people. My God.
I know, it's a big deal.
It's a big deal, but I hate when they have games at noon.
Yeah.
I'm barely awake enough to know what I'm doing at noon. Uh, Again, best spell for soulmate love is to throw the qualities of the person you want out to the universe and let the universe decide how. An excellent example is, again, practical magic. Um, Basically, a little girl is in a rose garden and she picks a petal and speaks to the petal a quality of Mr. Right that she wants to meet someday, and she throws it up into the air. And then she picks another one, she speaks it to the thing, throws it up in the air. And all, great qualities. But one of the things that she said was he's got to have one green eye and one blue eye. Now, you want to be specific enough to have this spell be like, free of negative entanglement, free of backlash, free of stalker, rapist type of person. But you don't want to limit the hands of the universe. Specifying that it was a green eye and a blue eye makes it harder for the universe to come up with that. So Mr. Right arrives, like she's like in her mid 30s or early 30s when Mr. Right finally shows up in her life, and he's exactly the dude she described, and with one green eye and one blue eye. Now that's Hollywood, but it is a good representation of the right kind of spell. And like I said, the bad kind of love spell is something we see in the craft, where they did it on a specific target. And in the craft, she didn't even want the affections of the target. She was doing it to fuck with the guy. And as such, she got a stalker rapist motherfucker. that's the way that worm can turn. Hello, Moonbeams over there on Instagram. Coming to you live from New Orleans on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. If you're on YouTube and you're not following me on Instagram, follow me at Uncle Birch _ witch. Yes, I'm live. Hopefully you got a notification or something. I'm not sure. I'm so ignorant to the ways of Instagram. I don't know how you find out about this. I really like your video on making holy water, but the quality wasn't great on YouTube. Would you consider remaking it? Sure. I didn't even remember that I did that. There was a time when I was on Candelo's Corner, a podcast where I was the co-host for several years, and I think it was like one of the last shows, and I knew it was gonna be the last show, and it was kind of emotional for me, so I was kind of drunk, as I often was for that show, and the host was too. But somebody, asked about making holy water. And I go, fucking holy water. It's fucking easy to make holy water. It's just blah, 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 blah. And as I'm doing that, my rational mind is yelling at me in the background. They're going, dude, shut the fuck up. What are you doing? You don't know how to make holy water. Shut up, dude. And so then I listened to the rebroadcast, and then I went and looked it up. And sure enough, apparently I'd learned how to make holy water, and it was, in a deep recess of my subconscious mind, and that's where that was coming from. And that was how to make holy water. And then I followed it back, and so that way of making holy water comes from the Greater Key of Solomon. And that is the method for making holy water that the Catholic Church uses, the Roman Catholic Church uses to this day. And then I noticed, well, growing up with Gardnerian witchcraft and the British traditional witchcraft being the dominant force in witchcraft, Gardner borrowed quite liberally from that ritual, where if you find yourself saying the words creature of water or creature of salt, you're borrowing from Solomon. That's where Gardner got it. So if you've been, making your altar water in the typical Gardnerian way, that's exactly the ritual for making holy water that apparently Gardner had borrowed from Solomon, because we've been borrowing from Solomon for a very long time. Somehow I just remembered how to do that. So you look that up, or actually just do it just like the Gardnerians do it. We're just not dedicating it to, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, that kind of thing. Hello, son. Huh? There was a knock. I'll be back.
I am expecting a package.
We're expecting a package.
It says the space heater was delivered. So it's gotta be the heater.
Boom.
The heater, yay!
Okay. And we're back. I didn't miss anything on Instagram. Practical Magic, my favorite witch movie, followed closely by The Craft. Craft reboot was terrible. You know, I watched the Craft reboot and I don't even recall any of it, so it must have been really bad. What kind of divination would you recommend to determine whether or not someone is cursed? Oh, what is it? Olive oil and water. It is kind of holy. Yeah, pretty much holy water. 3 drops of olive oil. I think you put a hair of the person in the holy water. Uh, drop 3 drops of olive oil. If they repel from the hair to the sides of the glass, then that's curse. Then they would typically break that curse with scissors, cut the fucking water. That's one way, but you know, I probably wouldn't do that. I probably would do tarot because I've got tarot cards right over there. But I didn't want to just say tarot, so that one, look it up. I may be a little off on some of those because it's not one that I actually use, but that's a traditional one with the olive oil in the water. What, Hound? What are you doing, Hound? Why are you leaning against me, Hound? You're actually warming my kneecaps. It's very nice. All right, Uncle Birch coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. Any interesting things you can think of to do with tarot cards? Getting some the next few days. After 11 years, I've run out of new ideas. 78 card pickup. Take the whole deck, ask a question, throw the deck up in the air, and you read the cards that land face up. Maybe a bunch of cards, but it's a different way of doing it for sure. The yes or no one, that's one that not enough people know, but you know, it's generally not a good idea to read tarot for yourself, like a full spread, that kind of thing. But you can ask yes or no questions, because those you're not going to manipulate too much with your subconscious mind. Basically, you ask a yes or no question while shuffling the cards. Hey, Damon Fame. Then you lay the cards one by one. You're going to make 3 piles. So in each pile, you're either going to have 13 cards or the first ace. So you start laying them out in the first one, keep going, keep going. If you hit an ace, you stop and you go to the next pile. Lay them out, lay them out. Either you're going to hit an ace or you get to 13 cards. When you get to, you know, an ace or 13 cards, you go to the next pile. Same thing till you're done. 3 aces, absolutely yes. 2 aces, yeah, but let's look at that other card that might tell us something we've got to overcome to make that a yes, or what's going to resist it from being a yes. 1 card, no, not really. You look at these other 2 cards, not too likely, but you know, maybe if you change this and the other thing, maybe it could be a yes. And then, of course, no aces is absolutely no. So those are the kind of tarot reading you can do for yourself where you're not going to interpret it the wrong way. Because either if we try and do a full spread, we're either going to be too easy on ourselves or too hard on ourselves, depending on what type of person we are. So we're going to either read them to our favor or to our disfavor. Um, that's kind of psychological based on the type of person that we are. All right, I'm going to have me one more smoke, and then I'm going to go. Been fun. Damon Fain just got here. Yeah, Damon, my main Uncle Birch account is in TikTok jail till the 19th right now. Partially the Christians and partially the Norse snowflake peaceniks, which I'm still trying to wrap my head around how that exists in the Norse pantheon, but whatever. The video that they complained about did not get taken down, but I still got a strike for community standards. So got a couple days, I'm gonna sit in there. My other accounts are doing okay, but today we're live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. So definitely follow me on, yes, I'm pissing off everyone. Follow me on Instagram at Uncle Birch, one word, _ witch, because I'm going to be using that, and eventually maybe I might go live on Instagram and TikTok, or Instagram and Facebook. It's not always going to be YouTube and the other one, but I'm putting my old phone to use. I've got 2 different phones going on 2 different formats because I don't like any of the software that helps me do that. I haven't found one that I think works adequately enough. There's like Restream. Restream does that. I don't think it does TikTok yet, but I'm old school geek. If you have a shareware or a trial version, your trial version should work great if you want me to pay for another version. Now, I never got the trial version of the thing I was just talking about, Restream, to work well. And people tell me, oh, the paid version works great. And it's like, no, that's not how you fucking do this shit, you stupid fucking programmers. You make the free one work better than the paid one. The free one's what you're using to suck in customers. And if the free one doesn't work, I'm not going to buy the paid one. It's just, on the slight possibility that the paid version of that program is going to work. So I never had any luck with Restream. I did get to where, it would do 2 streams, but then to get the text, the people commenting all on one screen, that just never fucking worked. And so it's like, well, if that's not going to work, why not just have 2 different phones going? I can see, I just have to go back and forth, I guess, I could bring out the iPad and put that up and be on another fucking format, but I don't want to be reading 3 screens. That's going to be way too confusing. Yeah, I'm pissing off everybody. But Damon Fain, how pissed off they've got to be that I keep making videos using their favorite Viking song behind it. and I did that with the video that pissed them off. Well, you probably guessed that that's why I chose that particular song. It's kind of a cool song too. That sea shanty Viking thing, that there's like 10 million different versions of on TikTok. Damon Fain over here, man. Talk about pissing him off. He just comes right out and says, "'Cause your God's a little bitch." If I said that, they'd flag the fuck out of me, but their God is a little bitch. So I think we got Attitude Caffeinated and Moonbeams over here on Instagram. See, that's why I've got to spend more time on my Instagram and figure out what it takes for people to know I'm live, or maybe share that to my Facebook. I don't know. I'm still very new to Instagram, but YouTube's humming along over here. Freighter. I didn't say anything untrue. Well, yeah, I never said anything untrue on any of the videos that, but they'll do stupid shit. Like, I've gotten videos flagged for nudity. Now I'll file the appeal, and sometimes I win, sometimes I lose, and it's like, but sometimes they'll say that oh, no, we found your video did violate our. It's like, but there was no nudity. I got a student of mine that started doing live tarot, and I got my viewers to boost his viewership so he could get 1,000 viewers and go live. And then as soon as he went fucking live doing tarot readings for people, he did a reading where the Lovers tarot card came up in the Rider Waite, and the nudity on the tarot card got his account permanently banned. That was like the fastest perma ban I've seen. You know, violated community standards over and over and over and over again, and won most of my appeals, but still the strikes for having a community standards violation eventually got my page taken down. But he got his page taken down just immediately over nudity. And I've had like illegal activities, and there's no illegal activities. So I figure, when we report the Christians, just use hate speech. It's going to be hate speech. Eventually, the Christians that we're reporting. I'm not saying, report every goddamn Christian. I'm, advocating reporting bigots, Christian bigots, and people that attack witches, that they're homophobic, or they're racist, or all those things that they want to do under the cover of their religion. We are organizing to mass report them over on TikTok. And we've gotten a couple of them taken down. The Kill Witches 21 got taken down. His other account, which is Mexican King of America or some shit like that, we got that account taken down. Wesley Loves Jesus is on her like 4th account now. She's running all over the fucking place. And then there's this one Patriot guy that keeps fucking with Modern Warrior. He's on like his 5th account. So it's not a hard thing to do. You just keep reporting. And Damon, because I know you got the same notification. I reported him. I hadn't, I've been doing some other things, so I haven't reported him like 3 days. But the night that I was reporting him, I just kept reporting his account for hate speech. I did it like 10 times. Just report it, report it, report it, report it. It was like my game for the fucking night. And then over the last couple days, I'd be getting notifications. We reviewed his thing and didn't find it violated. We reviewed his thing and didn't find it violated. And then last night, we reviewed his thing and found it a violation, and his account's restricted. So those things that I did like 3 days ago eventually went through. So just like whenever you can, just sit there and just keep. I reported the account. I was also reporting this specific video where he had the severed witch head on the ground, and you've got to kill witches before they kill you, he said. I didn't get much success flagging that video, which was obvious fucking hate speech. But the continual reporting eventually went through. So while you're there, just keep reporting it. Just keep reporting the fucking account, and eventually one of those might go through. Did he create another one? I swear the fake tree, yeah, he's got like 5 accounts. I've been reporting his account, and I think I duetted one of his accounts. The guy that allegedly has a lawyer that doesn't have a lawyer, who's going to sue Modern Warrior and a bunch of other people. Because saying kill the witches before they kill you apparently isn't hate speech. Yeah, I know. Well, that's, again, I don't think there's humans on the other end of TikTok. Modern Patriot? Oh, really? Okay. I'll go find him. Now he's Modern Patriot. Yeah, but he's on his like 5th account. And so all those people, the natives are on him, everybody's on him. So that guy's like running all over the internet starting accounts. But I've found, having some fun with that. I've got like, 3 different accounts, and I jump around from account to account, and I'll post all 3 videos. I'll make a video and I'll post it on all 3 accounts, and then those are showing up to people's For You pages more, because there's 3 different versions of them to pop up on their accounts. So, and then Modern Patriot 3.0, I believe, okay? And then they can't find all of those accounts, and then each one of those accounts is reaching totally new audiences. I tend to use Witch Talk and Witches of TikTok and those kind of things as my hashtags. So those are the people that show up on my For You page. But on each account, people are showing up on my For You page that I've never seen, witches that have been out there forever that I've never run across. And the people that I used to know aren't showing up. So I'm having to like remember their accounts, slowly but surely, and refollow their accounts. But the Christians getting my one page taken down has led me to reach three totally separate audiences of witches, and the people following me are different too. So that's kind of biting them in the ass too. He posted an apology. Right before he apologized, he said we shouldn't live in a world where we have to apologize for anything. I think I saw something like that. Now there's a bunch of people who don't practice what they preach. It'd be funny if they weren't such a load of wankers about anybody who doesn't disagree with them, or but doesn't agree with them. I'm pretty sure supporting murder is hate speech. It should be. I mean, it was. Kill the Witches 21 was the account that we got taken down. So obvious. It shouldn't have taken 10 times of reporting, but stick with it. It's like I post those videos and I just say, do what you're gonna do, and what we're doing is we're hexing them and we're reporting them. So hit them on the magical, hit them on the mundane, hit them with everything you got. Come on over to TikTok at Uncle Birch 2, Uncle Birch 3, and Witch School, WITCHSKEWL. And that third account, somebody that had been mass shadow banned mentioned that to me, that she made an account without her normal name in it and was getting more followers on that account. Now, granted, she's up to 111,000 fucking followers in a couple months, so I'm hoping that happens. But the Witch School account is growing faster than the Uncle Birch 3 account, so it could be that the words Uncle Birch might be shadow banned. I bet if I made an account called Christian Killer 666, I'd be banned in 2 seconds. You should do that. Just make one as an experiment. Jane Kayla joined over here on Instagram. Sorry, Jane, we're just about done. I said I was going to finish this cigarette and go do other things. I've been here for 108 minutes and 45 seconds, it seems, over here. Coming to you live on Instagram and YouTube at the same time. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you should follow over there, Uncle Birch _witch. Because eventually I'll probably do this where it's not on YouTube. I'll do Instagram and maybe TikTok, or Instagram and Facebook, or YouTube and Facebook. Mix up this idea of the dual broadcast thing. But been having a good time. Did he create another one? I swear the fake tree is having a meltdown. Yes, he is having a meltdown, and his alleged lawyer, he says he has a lawyer. He shows paperwork of a lawsuit, and the paperwork from the lawsuit, somebody tore this apart, and it was pretty fucking interesting. It's something he printed up on the internet, and has little blanks to fill in, like the amount that he's suing for is like $1,300 or something. So he filled in, it's like a real lawsuit doesn't have blanks that you fill in. That's not how lawsuit paperwork is filed. You can't print.
If only it were that easy.
Yeah, you can't print it up off the internet, fill in the blanks, and file your fucking lawsuit. So that guy not only doesn't have a lawyer, he doesn't have a lawsuit. And Modern Warrior has like, I think, close to 3 million fucking followers. So it just ain't gonna happen. I'm sure somewhere in that follower there's an actual lawyer that can help him out. You help me keep entertained on the whole drive through downtown LA. Well, an entire drive through downtown LA could take 110 minutes and 28 seconds. I don't miss that at all. If we have to drive 20 minutes here in New Orleans, man, that's serious major gridlock and a long trip. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for joining me on Instagram and on YouTube. Follow me and subscribe on TikTok. You've got to hit the little bell to know when I go live. Up on my profile, there's a little thing where you have to hit to get all the live notifications whenever I'm doing that. Far Wandering Wizard joined. Hey, Far Wandering Wizard, you're here just in time for me to say goodbye. I've been here for 111 minutes and 5 seconds on YouTube and Instagram. Hopefully I'll catch you next time. But wherever you are, ciao to you over there. As our ancestors used to say, to remind us of the troubled times through which they came and the breadcrumb trail that they left you to follow in the ways. Merry meet, right here. Merry part. Merry meet again, y'all. And then this one.